Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you live around the world. Only a few minutes ago, I'd created a video which I introduced the thought that perhaps the drawing method would permit the use of various dome frequencies to create a dome, the one that we're trying, or the structure that we're trying to develop. And I said, well, maybe the 3V, because we're basing everything, this model here, this is the version 1, is around a 4V dome. And I thought, well, does this approach permit the use of alternate dome frequencies, in this case a 3V dome? And I'd mentioned that this one doesn't inherently have an opposite, an appropriate leg, this one here, one that I've forced into creation for the structure, because this itself is a quadrant of a half sphere, and by the time you rotate it, the leg that would be the next, I will group this together and show my thinking. Make group, rotate around. This is already a 1/8 of a full sphere. So if we rotate it round this axis, we've created its opposite side of the sphere, which means that the leg, or this particular segment here, or surface here, is angled backwards, not really making it a structurally advantageous feature of a dome that we'd want to build. So a 3V dome is a step too far for what we want to have for a dome that we'd want to build. And all I did here was rotate this surface through the base, the axis of the base, and so it's actually in plane. You could make this a four-sided, it's flat between the two, making it quite a leggy dome, and very narrow in the opening, of course. So that's not very satisfying, is it? So sometimes the thoughts have to be exorcised and got rid of, because while it's a blind alley, or it has a negative outcome, it has to be at least pursued to be able to conclude that. Now, is there another way of fudging this? Probably, but not through the method, I think, of drawing the structure in the method that we're using at the moment. There was one at one stage, because I was getting frustrated, says, oh, you just grab them all and you shrink them. And oh, that looks reasonable. Now, can you do that? Well, yes, you can actually, but how wise is it? But it does actually wind up with, well, I just shrunk it down to an arbitrary level, but you think, well, after all, I'm going to be getting all the measurements from the drawing. I don't have to have the maths behind it, so why not? Now, I would suggest that would not be a very good idea. Anyway, that was just a bit of a desperate move at one point, because I just couldn't figure out how to get to where we're going. Anyway, that said, this was just a really, really short video of no great importance. And I should actually title the video that, watch at your own risk, or some such. But it exhausts the 3V avenue. Of course, the avenue I'll need to have a look at next is you guessed it, 5V dome. Okay, that was it. So just a short, less than 5-minute video, so you can wander off and ignore this video. Okay, see you later. Bye.